Hi, this is Ed, and this is downtown San Diego. I'll get out of the way here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is a park that is right outside my window here,
Nice.
and we're in the downtown area. I'll see if I can adjust this picture here a little bit.
So Ed, point to where the gas district is.
Yeah, it's to my left.
To your left.
Yeah, it's east of here, 10 blocks.
Oh, not bad. You can walk it.
Yeah, yeah. It's about I don't know, 1,500 steps, something like that.
That's good.
Yeah, it's all flat and safe. Uh, it's okay. Yeah, Gaslamp District. Um, it is really one street, but there are tributaries leading to and from
Mm-hmm.
around the corner here and there. Um,
And you're what, less than 5 miles from the zoo, right?
the zoo
San Diego Zoo.
San Diego Zoo is about a mile and a half from where I'm
Oh,
sitting.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I'm in downtown well, just across from Seaport Village, and that is uptown. It's hilly, and that Balboa Park, a big Central Park kind of area, is where the zoo is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of museums, the museum district, and some um, the old Globe Theater,
Mm-hmm.
nice little place, and the
Mm.
outdoor music center is there, and lots of museums.
Nice.
It's one of our favorite places. There's an IMAX theater,
Oh, yeah.
and right across from that is the
Balboa Park.
natural. Well, it's all within Balboa Park,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and right there is the Fleet Science Center, which is an IMAX theater, and also across the street is right in the middle of the street is this beautiful fountain. It shoots water up a couple of 100 feet, and it's really a beautiful area. And the zoo is on the other side of that
Mm-hmm.
structure. And then next to the zoo and near that fountain is the Natural History Museum, which has become one of our favorite things to do. Beautiful
That's
place.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love San Diego. Probably one of my top three places I ever want to live is San Diego.
Yeah, it's good. But very different than St. George, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I learned that real quick.
Yeah, right. So you were in Newport Beach this past week?
I was. I
Yeah, did you
was.
have fun?
I had fun, but I'll tell you, one of my adaptive principles that I give in my TEDx talk is the only constant is change, and you have to learn to embrace it because you can't do anything about it. It's going to come your way. You got to adjust to it, and you got to make do with what you got for the most part. And for me, getting all of our gear in our little rental car that we decided to rent instead of drive our own vehicle. We drove all the way across country, six to 6.5 hour drive to
Right.
go in the first place. So
Yeah.
you're hammered when you arrive at that wonderful destination. And then they have to find room on the floor for you to set up your inflatable mattress. So I set up an inflatable mattress, was praying it would hold air, and in fact it did. So that was a good sign. But it was all the little changes and nuances that you have to get used to. I mean, I spent 6 nights sleeping in a different place, and in some cases on a different mattress, and it was just all over the helter skelter.
You know what? It's really disconcerting and uncomfortable, I bet. And the foods, unless you pack your own foods,
Oh,
it's your sense of comfort
yeah.
and mental health actually is impacted. And I say that from experience because we on occasion go visit investment properties. One is in Palm Desert, and then we have two in Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
They're very nice areas, but
Sure.
um, it's different. Things are different. The TV stations are different.
It
The
is.
temperatures are different, and you get used to walking down this street, but then there's other streets, and then you don't see anybody who you know.
Yeah.
It's there are terrible worse things than that. That's for sure out
Always,
there in the world,
always.
but it's good to get back to comfort.
I was so thrilled when we pulled in our driveway and then into our garage last night. I said, finally home, just could take a deep breath. And I think I'd say within 10 minutes I was sound asleep.
A sense of relief. So, Ken, this goes right to the heart of the issue that you have raised so poignantly about the people who were impacted by the fires.
Absolutely. Total disruption of life, everything. You talk about whether it's family structure, education, healthcare, your community, your neighbors, where are you going to live, where are you going to be sleeping in a month from now, just everything. And people are renting homes, the kids are in different schools. So the kids have shown amazing resilience,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's just a complete disruption of life. And as we all know, it's a major source of stress. And
Oh, yeah.
these folks have, to me, the ones that we know have handled it quite well. And they do need to talk it out, which they do,
Yeah,
and just not stay having it all pent up within them, but
yeah,
dealing with it, expressing it, and trying to put out some strategies of what are we going to do next. But it's
yeah,
very hard for some of them to even do realistic planning.
yeah,
It's
oh, yeah, yeah.
horrible.
Now, Ken, you're in Los Angeles, right?
Right, just out in the San Fernando Valley,
Okay, so
exactly.
you got the most recent fires that came through, and how was your situation? Did you get through it halfway okay, or was it? Are you still adjusting to?
Oh, that's interesting. The fire came within some miles of our home, but it did not stretch over the hill, which would have come into our neighborhood. We had to evacuate for a week.
Yeah,
So when we were evacuated, the whole area was over, everyone was out. So there's no one you could really call and say, hey, what's going on there? But we did look at the news and
yeah,
see where this fire is going, where it's moving. The
yeah.
Los Angeles Police Department could not have been more effective. They
Wow,
cordoned off the area. They totally prevented looting.
wow,
We didn't know how intense the protection was until we got back. So we
sure.
were out in beautiful Palm Desert and wondering each day, is our house still standing? Is it
Yeah,
being looted? But we got to the point, there's nothing we can do about it.
yeah,
And you just have to hope and pray that things will be okay. And more importantly, that people will be all right as a result of this.
yeah,
We know what happened in the Palisades. We saw the devastation there. We have friends who lost homes there. Our children have, somebody's got ironic. There goes a fire
there
truck
goes one
somewhere.
right there. Yeah,
There you go. But the people we know have gotten through it, but it's been extremely difficult, and it's not
yeah,
over yet. And we
yeah,
have, for example, we have friends whose house was not burned down. You think, wow, what a break. Well, except for one thing.
yeah,
Basically, the houses in the neighborhood are gone. The soil is horrible. The air is unhealthy.
yeah.
There's nothing there of a community. No stores, no churches, no synagogues, no neighbors, no anything. And the house
Wow.
smells like a chimney.
Oh,
So
wow.
those are folks who are lucky enough not to have their house burned down. And yet the folks that are sort of in our age demographic that did lose a house don't feel like taking the next 4 or 5 years to
Yeah,
rebuild a house in an area where tests are showing the soil, even though it's been somewhat leveled and they've cut down a
yeah.
number of inches, is still contaminated and is still
Oh,
giving
yeah,
part
yeah,
particulate. So it is horrible for these folks. And yeah, you're dealing with stress in the worst way. And frankly, the folks we know have done it remarkably well. Our
That's
hearts go
great.
out to them.
That's great. Yeah,
That's
I'd
a
like
story of success.
I'd like to stay on this topic for a little bit, Ed, if that's okay,
I think it's perfect.
because I've got a brother who just went through just what you went through, and then some. I mean, he works at the San Diego Zoo, Ed. You've heard
Uh,
of my brother Paul. And my brother Paul works at San Diego Zoo. He also works at the Wild Animal Park,
yeah,
both owned by the same group.
yeah, I've been there several times.
And he, about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago even, he woke up in the morning to get to his little pickup truck and drive downtown to the zoo and to get all these amazing menus filled for these weird creatures that live in the zoo. And it's fascinating to learn about these birds and their lifestyle and everything else. But it's just amazing that an organization that large can make that many different meals for these unique and different animals. And mostly, Paul's primarily in charge of the bird department. So he's in charge of feeding the bee-eating birds that can only eat live bees, right? And they have to have a hive as part of their exhibit with live bees flying out of the hive. And you watch these things, they're amazing. They fly over and they catch one in midair, land on a branch, and they bang their beak on the branch so they could get the stinger out and not be harmed by the stinger. It's just incredible what the responsibility they have for that. So back to my brother. My brother was and still is the largest parrot breeder in San Diego County. He supplies most of the pet stores that have macaws, military macaws, hyacinth macaws, beautiful parrots, just incredible looking parrots. And he has the largest stock in one location in San Diego County. And it's just amazing. So he got in his truck, he smelled the ashes, and then he took a look around and he thought, hey, wait, I've got 10 other neighbors that live within a mile of me. I better go tell them there's something heading this way. It was 5:30 in the morning when he got up and when he smelled it. So he went to every homeowner, knocked on the door, told them what was coming, saved lives, literally saved lives. And then he went to work trying to free all of his pets, his macaws. And there was 150 breeding pairs. He got them all, not all free, but he got about a third of them were freed, and then 2/3 ended up just burning alive in their cages. So terrible tragedy. They found out that the San Diego Gas and Electric Company was responsible for the fire. There was a loose wire that sparked the spark and set the brush on fire. And my brother Paul could never forgive himself for what happened that day. That's like his children. Could you imagine having 150 pairs of children that are your pride and joy and that you love dearly? I mean, just horrible thing to go through. So a smart, astute attorney got involved and he filed a class action suit against San Diego Gas and Electric Company. And very smart of him, they gave him a complete settlement for all 150 macaws, plus their future breeding potential. So these macaws, they could have had. They did the math. Some statistics person did the math and said, okay, we're going to give it this as an add-on. But San Diego Gas said, bring it on, we'll sign it. They didn't want bad press for their company, and so they didn't even have a regular lawsuit. So they did it out, incognito, so to speak.
So this was the fire a couple of weeks ago in North San Diego in Escondido, Pala
No,
area.
no, this is about 10 to 12 years ago.
Oh, because there
And
was a fire about 2 weeks ago in North County, rural area, backcountry, uh, um, and but it didn't spread.
yeah,
Conditions weren't bad, and the fire team responders did a great job controlling
oh,
it fast.
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I was wondering whether that was.
No, I didn't
That was
hear anything on that one,
hmm.
but I did hear this other one I just mentioned to you. But
uh,
we had a fire come through 4 or 5 years ago, came through Irvine, and it blew right into our track. That's how far it got. And we had to leave the premises, went to stay with in-laws and family members. But it's such havoc these fires can cause. It's almost unimaginable what individuals and families have to go through. So,
And it's compounded now because in this era, if I can call it that, of climate change, we're
yeah.
going to see more weather extremes.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the predictions is we're going to have far more wildfires. They're talking particularly in the West, that it's
Wow.
going to be devastating. We saw it's unimaginable what happened in the
Yeah.
Palisades and in Altadena. It's beyond description. You just look at it, you go, I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's what we're going to face. You want to talk about sources of stress, all the way from those that are right in your own home versus those that are far more global and certainly on as major a scale as one can imagine.
yeah.
And that's just in the background of life now. It's just
Yeah.
another stressor that's out there
Yeah.
among many, many others.
And nobody thought about, is there water in the fire hydrants? Is there accessibility? Isn't
Um,
that amazing? I mean, who would
um,
ever think about that? It was
uh,
just everybody
and
just
yeah,
assumes that it's going to work. It didn't work.
it's
And
Yeah.
amazing what an empty reservoir can do, but that's how in the world, how in the world can that be? But it's,
Wow.
a breakdown in
yeah,
trust
Wow.
of the, well, I don't know, government, I guess, or somebody's in charge of these things,
Yeah.
but somebody's not in charge. So who will be?
yeah.
I mean that. So the other shoe, quote unquote, hasn't dropped yet. Lawsuits,
Oh yeah.
inquiries, and
Yeah.
then what to do about it. You know?
Meanwhile, the firefighters on the line, as well as police and other public health and public safety individuals, clearly help. There are signs all throughout, even now in this neighborhood. Thank you, first responders. It'll be from one agency or set of families or another, just thanking them and showing the appreciation. The firefighters were amazing what they endured to try to help deal with this tragic situation.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I had a stepfather, and he was a police officer for LAPD. He was one of the first ones to ride a brand new motorcycle they brought out for all the policemen, and it was a dandy's motorcycle. It was a Moto Guzzi, they called it, very lightweight, and he was so happy to be able to get this motorcycle. But for me, I always looked to the police officers. I was thankful for the job they did because my stepfather was one. But at the same time, I always felt a little more endeared to the firemen because those firemen, they go walking right into a firestorm, and it's a pretty scary place to be. And I mean, you got to have them both, and they both fulfill their civic duties. But at the same time, it's just I don't know. If I had one to pick, I want to pick my best buddy as a fireman myself. So anyway, so wow, what else, where do you want to go, Ed? Are we?
So let me just say that the show has to end in under 10 minutes, and because of time constraints. But the topic of civil unrest is uh, not a new thing, but it can create a lot of concern, and figuring out trust and dealing with it, and personally what not to think about, force things from entering your head, and yet that tension and that story is right there, and quote unquote right there. And how do we deal with that kind of a problem? I don't know personally. You can tune it off, but you're sort of looking for something, and then you see something and it's, oh no, I don't want to see that.
Well, the thing from my perspective, having been a Parkinson's patient now for 20 years, plus 20 years of experience with something that I knew nothing about in the very beginning, and was very concerned about. But I've learned in that 20 years, I've learned so many important lessons that can help any individual that's facing a significant major trial or tragedy. And to me, I sum it all up into five points. And I gave you the first one already, which is the only constant is change. Embrace it. Second one is, if you think things can't get worse, you're wrong. It can be a slippery slope. These fires are only one example. In life, you get diagnosed with a chronic illness of sort, you got to go, at least maybe in your early mid years to later years, you've got maybe another 20 years or 30 years if you're in good health. But yeah, that's something that's very hard to adjust to. And it does get worse sometimes. One of my biggest words I've become familiar with in the last 20 years is what depression means. And what's the elements of depression? Most 50% of all patients that get Parkinson's, 50% will struggle with major depression disorder. It's not an easy thing to deal with. It's a very hard thing to deal with. But if you think of it in a different angle, you can always find a more positive stroke to the situation. So I don't know. Share this with most of my audiences, but I think it's relevant to share here. Yeah, if you take the word depression and you unscramble it, it spells I press on. I love that perspective. I love it. I lean on that all the time. All the time. My third one is control is an illusion. Let go of it. We're all looking for the right partner, maybe in life, the right vacation. You always want everything to happen just the way you want it to, and it really does. It really does. We have so little control over significant things that come up in our lives. So I think that's another thing we have to always remember.
Thank you for doing that, Mark.
Yeah, I'll leave the other two for another time.
Oh, I think quickly, if you want to enunciate them, then we'll have time for that and come to a
Okay.
close.
Life isn't always fair.
Mm,
Whatever happens, don't forget to laugh.
good.
Laughter is by far your best medicine.
Thank
Remember,
you.
remember to laugh. And um, my last one is, I'm trying to remember what it was. It slipped my mind. This is a classic example of Parkinson's. Classic example. There are no coincidences in life, just miracles. See the miracle. I think so many of us have daily miracles that they don't even recognize, and they treat it as like just that's just a freak thing, or it's luck, or it's. But there are things that happen. I believe this in our lives. There are miracles from God, and He's aware of what we need, and He'll send us what we need. And Ed knows this as much as anyone from our previous conversations we've had about the medical community that we service. And I've served for 20 years. I've been involved moving scientists all around the globe, for that matter. And amazing experiences meeting these gentlemen, bright, brilliant people.
MarkColo, I thank you very much for sharing these incredibly personal happenings, and I congratulate you in your mental toughness and take charge approach to things that many people would be overwhelmed by. Would you agree, Ken?
Absolutely. I just thank you for sharing these thoughts. They're absolutely helpful and they're clear. And I love your words about miracles. I mean, it's all a miracle. The fact that we're here on this planet as individuals is a miracle, and we're surrounded by them. So I absolutely agree. And your related thoughts, I think, are just excellent. And I did not know that about the word depression. I like that a lot.
Well, I'm glad you got at least one good thing you can remind others of in the future. I will take each morning when I wake up as an exciting day, an opportunity to go out and meet someone new, share someone new, and just that comment, Ken, about that thought, it means a lot to me, because I try and make a difference in people's lives every single day. I saw a woman the other day. I'll end this real quick. I saw a woman the other day. I keep talking about these things. And she was in a yogurt store of all places at Laguna Beach. And she had I'm pretty sure they were her grandchildren with her. She had a ball cap on, and she had hair that was about a quarter inch thick, if that. So I looked at that. What would you assume that might be, health wise? You think of anything? I made the assumption that she had cancer. And I think she had that look and that feel. So I gave her one of my cards, and I have these cards that I hand out for my TEDx talks. And they can click on the card, and it will bring up, here it is, right? You you see
It's
it?
hard to see. Read it what it says.
Okay, it says TEDx St. George,
Yeah,
and then and that's the RFQ.
yeah.
Take a picture. That would take you straight into my talk that I gave, and it's now stored in YouTube. These other two QR codes
Yeah.
are the two books I wrote.
Oh,
One,
that's smart, man. That's really smart.
Yeah.
That's very efficient. What is the theme of the TEDx talk?
adaptability proliferates possibilities,
Get that, everybody? Adaptability proliferates, which means creates, I guess.
or multiplies.
Multiplies. Multiplies what?
Uh, Adaptability proliferates possibilities.
Possibilities. Well, that is a blessing. Thank you for sharing. Amen.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Well, it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. Good show. I'll send it to you later today.
Okay. Love you guys.
Thank you very
Becky,
much.
take care.
We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
In person someday.
Maybe, if we don't see it in the future, we'll see it in the pasture. Right?
Adios.
Take
Yeah.
care. Bye-bye.
Okay.